Hello. I think I'm ready to start. As usual, let's first see how the audio is working out for us. How is it on Twitch? Microphone check. My microphone checker. Alright, I think it is working on Twitch. That's great. How about YouTube? 1, 2, YouTube, 1, 2, YouTube. Microphone check. My microphone checker. Alright, YouTube is with us as well. Audio is hopefully working. And yeah, I think we're ready to do this today. Hello. Fine folks, I hope you're having a nice Sunday morning. I have it really nice. Great weather outside, and today we'll get back to coding a bit for the project that I am doing with my friend. But we are at the beginning, so nothing too fancy right now. Last stream we were trying to expose the beautiful world of Subsystem to Blueprint in such a way that you could create your own subsystems and script them via Blueprint, right? And the most important subsystem that I really want to expose, because it seems like in the project we would be using them together, is world subsystem and game instance subsystem. And if I remember correctly, world subsystems already exposed them and it works correctly here in the plugin that I created, which is called BP Subsystems. Very creative. I have these are dependencies for the world, so I can test things out. And I have subsystems examples, BP world subsystem example, which inherits from, we'll take a peek at it, BP world subsystem. We can, as in C++, where you have to you should override virtual function called should create subsystem to even tell the engine that it should be created, right? For the world subsystem we can do this. I'm sorry for yawning. I don't think I had a great sleep last night. I think my cat visited me way too often. And we can also override does support world type, because in theory world subsystem could also work in the editor, but we only want to work in game world. And all of those typical things like initialization, on world begin play, on world component updated, world end play. If you're hearing some weird audio, someone is walking the dog, small dog, in front of my block, and dog is going like post initialize, all of the typical things that you would expect in C++, right, to override. The way I had to do it, sometimes I just had to override the virtual function from the base class, world subsystem, and expose those functions via blueprint implementable event. And the way it works is just should create subsystem just calls the blueprint the same with initialize. It calls blueprint overridable functions, right? And that way in the world it can work. And if I remember correctly, I can access the example world subsystem that I created just fine, right? I have BP world subsystem example, right? And everything is great. I also went ahead last stream and tried to expose game instance subsystem. It has much less of an API because it just has game instance and the constructor, right? Also, I exposed should create subsystem to make sure that the BP game instance subsystem on its own, this class, is not created automatically. Because the thing with subsystems in Unreal Engine 5 C++ is all those subsystems, unless stated otherwise with this function, will be automatically created. I'm sorry. Within the editor, within the world, right? So I didn't want anyone who will be scripting for this game, which right now includes me and my friend, to accidentally grab the instance of this subsystem that does nothing, right? And I also don't want to pollute the helper and blueprint when you're scripting, trying to find what I want to do. I don't want to pollute this with like game instance subsystem to have this subsystem being visible, because it's just polluting. It leads to error because someone will grab this instead of something else and error will be made, right? But the thing is, I said that it should not be created in here, right? We can see that if I type in BP world subsystem, I'm able to get my BP world subsystem example. For some reason, I'm still able to get the BP world subsystem, and that's what I want to hide, right? I don't want this to be visible here, but I cannot access my game instance subsystem, which I created in such a way that I could call the function add some count, and I don't know, I can print something, right? Let's add print string, make string, literal string, thank you, current count. This is just only a test function to see if I can call it from phone and will it behave correctly, right? I have to append, right? And I can just book the count here, bang. Bang, right? So whenever I will call this function from wherever place in the rest of the game, it will print my current count, right? And that's what I want to do for this example. I'm sorry for yawning. Really sorry. It's not been a great night. As you can see evidently, right? And we need to provide the world context object. So get player controller. It also needs the world context. Do I really need world context? No, I think it can. Yeah. I forgot that. Sometimes going to like the insights of the node code, C++ code insights of a node doesn't work that great with EGS shipped version of the engine. Or there might be another explanation. Let's see, did I change this to rider? My code editor. Source code? I did. So it should be opening up rider. But it's not, so I don't remember. It's funny that I cannot get into it. But if you build from source, from like GitHub or their Perforce, and you have a license, it will just double click and it will take you to here, it won't take me to here, so I have to go into Kismet or type in print and try to find. Oh my god, no. Yeah, because I just want to see if I really need to put in the world object, or will it get it on its own? I don't remember exactly, but I think I'm way beyond caring right now, because I just wanted to show that, okay, I have this game instance subsystem and I cannot reference it here, right? BP game instance subsystem. I can only reference the one that I created from code. So the issue for today's streaming will be, hey, let's create this AutoGetter node. There's no documentation on how to do it and how to access it, etc. So we will just try to get it, because in the C++ code, I could, in whatever other place, I could just take it. Like, for example, in my world subsystem, right? On world begin play, I could just go like this. I have in world get subsystem. Sorry, in world game get game instance, and I don't remember, is it a pointer or is it yes, it is a pointer, and I can get subsystem, go like this, provide the subsystem in here, which will be, what the hell was the name of my one? BP game instance subsystem, bang, and I have a subsystem. If I create a new subsystem, I can provide this name of it here and just my game instance subsystem. I cannot type today. Yeah, and it's done. I have it, right? And then I can just, of course, I didn't check full null pointer for game instance, etc. But you get my drift. I could just do that simple call, right? And I know that the AutoGetter works here because I have BP game instance subsystem, which is this, the one that I wanted to use for exposing things, the blueprint, right? So it created an AutoGetter for this, that cannot create AutoGetter for this BP game instance subsystem example, and I'm not sure yet why. So we will try to fix that problem, because otherwise we cannot work with that. And I really want to have game instance subsystems exposed to, I want to expose them to my friend, because our game will be turn-based, and it feels like, instead of creating like the actor that will be turn manager and everything will be happening there and everything has to connect it to there, you could just have game instance subsystem that will be turn subsystem. And what is going on? Whatever. Turn subsystem, right? And it would be way easier to write, and everything could access it in a super simple manner, right? Either from C++ code or from Blueprint script. But we need to get to this, right? Because either I have to go like get or type in subsystem. No, it is not exposed. Like, hey, get game instance. Get no. So I cannot copy the thing that I was doing here, like getting the subsystem from the game instance. So I need to create the AutoGetter for BP world subsystem. It worked, right? And I could call whatever in here. Like I can create a function here, call it world count and do basically the exact same thing from here. Instead of count this. What the world count? Ah, yeah. World count. I cannot have the same name for a function. Right. And here and do this, right? And the way I can work with world subsystems right now, if the F debug key is being pressed on my pawn, I can just go world count, call that function, and that's great, right? Because it's so easy to access. I don't have to think about placing an actor that is a manager for anything in the world. What if I change levels? What if I do this? What if I do that? Nah, I can just do this, and if there are some, if there is limits to when this subsystem can exist, I can always just check for validity checked, and then I can do whatever, right? And let me just open up the example level from here. Do I have the correct settings? No. Systems. Yeah. And I can just press play. Let's wait for the printed strings to disappear, and now press F. And as you can see, my world subsystem is printing, right? Let's just fix one thing for the readability's sake, right? So this works. I want to do the exact same thing for game instance, because that way my friend could start implementing his scripts for turn management within the game instance subsystem instead of anything else, right? He doesn't have to create like suddenly a million components, etc. He can just create all of the functionality in here. And really tidy it up, right? That's what we do in C++ as gameplay programmers. So. Let's dig into this mystery, why I cannot access my example game instance subsystem. Because I can. BP, oh my god, BP game. I can only cast to it, but I cannot get it. How to create this altogether? That's a mystery that we will unfold. First, let's maybe go into world subsystem. The base class of it, and because maybe there will be like a hint there how to expose it. Base class for auto instantiated and initialized system that share the lifetime of your world. Yes, that's exactly what we want. None of these have view blueprint or anything. Blueprint macro. This is an abstract class, so you cannot. Is this also an abstract class? Oh, it is. I should also add this to my stuff, right? So it won't be accessed. Of course, I forgot to make it an abstract class, which in theory should make it that here our little search bar for everything blueprint, right, should not show those not meaningful classes that are just existing to expose functionality to blueprint, right? Okay, so that's the first thing. Minimal API. Okay, we're not gonna use minimal API. And we don't see anything related to this getter node at all here. That doesn't bode well, but wait, there's something about collection, initialize, and initialization, and here. Will execute support initialize if the world has already been initialized. Will execute on world begin play, right? Maybe there's something with initialization and subsystem collection, because there's like the collection of subsystems, and maybe we have to add our thing there. It is calling super initialize, and super initialize does nothing, but maybe that's what we need in here. We'll see. We'll try that out. Let's override it. We can also create the same way that we did in old subsystem, right? The blueprint version of initialization. So, for example, if we want to create a game instance subsystem and initialize things at the beginning, like for example, load some data or process some data, then that's where we'll be able to do it, right? Maybe it's just missing initialization. Maybe, although I see in the base here there's only called, it is only calling the super, and the base U subsystem is not doing anything with this, so maybe that's interesting. Get function call space. The engine get global function call space. That is interesting. F subsystem collection base. Internal owning subsystem. Probably those are the weeds of subsystem that I never touched before. And I expect most programmers probably also haven't touched. Really gameplay programmers, of course. And these might be the weeds that we will need to get into. Just might be to create the altogether. No. There is, huh? Get subsystem, and it's this. Get a list of subsystems by type. But there has to be something for blueprints, right? Because I can access them in blueprints. All those things are just C++ based. There has to be something that in some way, shape, or form expose those things into blueprints. There has to be a code responsible for that, right? There is no magic, right? Let me read that comment quickly. Override to control of the system. For example, you only have your system created on server. Okay. We'll see. Maybe we just need to call initialize and call this. And that way it will be possible for us to have some initialization of data. Why I'm having a crash? Ah, yes, I forgot. And of course my rider debugger is showing me nothing. I forgot, before I will be able to like push it to the repo for my friend, I need to find out why this plugin is crashing, because for now it's crashing when closing the editor, and I have a suspicion that some of those CDOs, which is class default objects, when they are tearing themselves down, there's something missing, something fucked up, and I need to just fix it. And it will be alright. As for this month's streaming, let me take a look at the calendar. I will be able to stream on the next weekend. Then I will be off from this city, and in the last weekend of June, I will be also able to. So there, counting this, there will be 3 streams during June. And I would love to touch upon, but I will see if I will be able to. And we talked about this on stream with Dexterowski here, to try this agentic AI, because I never touched that, for Unreal Engine, either Codex or Claude. Well, I heard that they changed the prices model, etc., pricing model, and it might turn out that I just might not be able to afford this to test it out. I wanted really to try it out to see if it is worth its salt. I heard it is, but I wanted to try it, right? And show it off at the same time. But yeah, we'll see if it will be possible. Yeah, because one of my friends told me like, oh, you don't know how to create this out together, just turn on the codex or whatever. And I'm like, great, but that way I'm not learning, right? I'm just being given a ready answer, and I learned through my all years of going through the education system that I hate with passion, is that if someone gives me a ready answer how to fix something, it never stays in my brain. But if I go through the fucking effort and grind of figuring something out and I do it by my hand, that's where it stays in my brain. That's why, for example, this AI assisted learning would not work for me, because I could be like, oh yeah, that's how you do it, and I will immediately forget it. But when I struggle like this, that's where it actually registers in my brain, right? When I do it by my own hand. Then maybe I could, like Dario, take the wheel and just review it, but I also like fucking coding. That's something that I realized like last week, I think, when I was coding something, like some bug fix on the day job for the game that we released, and I was like, actually really fucking like the act of coding, typing out the code, etc. So if this game that me and my friend we're about to do is supposed to also be fun to do, I'm not sure if we'll be tuning into agentic AI, or at least not that way. And the prices are rising up anyhow, so anyway, so it might just turn out that you need a way bigger budget. Okay, it compiled. Let's see what happened. Let's also like create our override initialize. Print string. Get a reference to start. Set this name. And append. That way I can just do a debug print. The fuck I did? Oh, fun results need to stay there. Actually, I bought like a couple of plugins during the last sale. One of them were those electric wires, etc. I just forgot to turn them on for the stream. Maybe I will do this on the next stream or something. I bought them and I forgot about them. And they are making the dark nodes and the electric wires, so it makes the blueprint scripts more readable. Okay, I have this initializer and game instance. Still no game instance example. Subsystem example. I can only cast to it. There is no getter for it. This makes me sad. So it's not just about initializing, deinitializing, blah blah blah. Right? Should create subsystem. Did I expose should create subsystem? Yes, and I am returning true. Because if I was returning false, I would be like, okay, I get why it cannot exist. But yeah. Okay, so what else could be the reason? The initialization, no. I have a feeling that it is, but you know, engineering off of a gut feeling sucks, so that's not the way to go about it. But I have some kind of guess that it will be connected to the subsystem collection, that I have to do something with that. But how about BP local player subsystem? Can I already reference that? BP local player subsystem. I can already reference that, right? And if I create the example of that, will I be able to reference that? Maybe game instance is just for some reason not auto-gettable, but why when you're creating it from the blueprint, but why only from C++ would be working? I have no freaking clue. Let's create it. Local player subsystem. Yes, let's create example of this. BP local player subsystem example, right? And we will override everything that we can to create subsystem true. And in the event graph we have the controller changed, and we can print string get display name and make literal string player controller changed to expanded. I don't really like the way visually it looks when working with strings and blueprints, but you know, it is what it is, right? The same like mathematics. I really don't like doing mathematics and blueprints. I know that there used to be at least this mathematics node, like math expression, right? And you could just start, if I remember correctly, like no, that yeah, when you're like adding inputs, etc., and you can create like an expression like wait, what? And I fucked it up. I cannot add any more. It just doesn't work for some reason. I cannot change the name of it. Yeah, like you have to type it out like math expression and go like something. And then I cannot add. You have to go in here. You have to add variables to it, like float A and another float B. And that's what is happening. And then you have to like go here and yeah, like even something like that. It's like, okay, we have we have only one in. Oh, okay. I was thinking that I was creating inputs, but I wasn't. Yeah, I don't know how to work with that. It's just like writing mathematics in C++ is always better. There is, it says to you that, hey, press plus above to add new input, but there is no plus above it. You want to type out an expression. You're going like something plus nothing. And let's close it out into this and times 2, right? And creates this expression, supposedly, but I remember that when I was trying to make it work, it's just, there was something wrong with it. So I never really used that, but maybe this project will be a good way to find a good way of making math. Expressions inside of Blueprint. Because in C++ they are way more readable to me. Anyway, we created the BP local player example. Let's see if it is accessible. BP local, no, also only world subsystem is example is immediately auto-gettable. The local player subsystem isn't. What if I type in local player? I just want to get local player. Create local player. No. And look at this. Enhanced input local player subsystem ready, you know, accessible, right? Immediately. It provides. Goes here. If I go BP world subsystem and I go here and it points to initialize, it just opens it up, even though the abstract class should make it not searchable, really. Maybe the fact that I made it as a blueprintable. Okay, whatever. One mystery at the time. So, oh, it starts to, I think, to rain, or it already started to rain around my area. Damn, and it was such a wonderful day. All right. Yeah, that's what sometimes, that's why I'm a little bit self-conscious streaming code creation. Because that's what sometimes this job entails. You are sitting in front of the one stupid problem for 2 days, digging through the code. There's nothing fancy or flashy going on screen. So I see how it might be boring to a lot of people, right? So that's why I'm a little bit self-conscious, to be honest, but whatever. BP game is, so neither local player nor game instance subsystems examples are accessible. So mass testing. Let's open that up. And they created this for tests, right? There's this processor, blah blah blah, but I just want to see the subsystem. Point me to the track. D mass external subsystem trait. What is that? Game for only. Okay, show me this. Oh, it's just like an empty shell with nothing, and it is exposable. Yeah, because within. What does within mean? Objects of this class cannot exist outside of an instance of an outer class name. Okay, so game instance. It cannot exist outside of game instance. Of course. This means that creating an object of this class requires that an instance is provided to the outer object. Yeah, understandable. Does actually world subsystem have the same stuff? No. That's fascinating. The world subsystem doesn't have that. But what about local? And started. Whoa, it's not only rain. God damn. It's not only rain, there's also hail. God damn. It's hailing out there. That's how you say it? Okay, never mind. It's raining and hailing. Worker player system also has the within macro, so it can only be initialized and live inside of a local player. That's understandable. This is perfectly understandable and expected. It's just I don't get why world subsystem get altogether. And the everything else. And the other subsystems also get their autogetters if they were created with C++, but for blueprints only world subsystem version gets the autogetter. And now we can hear the thunder. I hope it doesn't come through too much. Does post initialize do something for that? Only this. But since I didn't override it, so it should be calling the base class post initialize, right? But let's see. There's no post initialize in the base class, so this is something only for world subsystem. So that's not it. Also, the support world type doesn't make sense for game instance because it doesn't care about this. God damn. I just don't see a hook. Where the fuck and how the fuck it doesn't see it? Game instance subsystems, but not subsystem example. Close this. What am I missing? What am I missing? Class set. Property GUID. Inherit. Parent class is BP game instance subsystem. Should I provide this? BP game instance subsystem example? I don't fucking know. Right now I'm just throwing shit at the wall and see if it sticks. Nope. Didn't work. So, ain't it. This ain't it. Yeah, it's probably nothing on the... Unfortunately, nothing on the blueprint side of things, which fucking sucks. So it has to be code. Let me analyze side by side the headers of these between game instance and the world subsystem. There's only should create subsystem, but that's world specific. Initialize I have. Post initialize it's world specific. 3D initialize is world specific. World begin play and everything else is world specific. The support world type is world specific. I just don't see anything. That would be pointing towards it, right? BP should create subsystem calls this. It returns false. I'm returning true, for sure. This is true. Same way as here. So I'm not having like a brain fart. Here. Yeah, everything is the exact same. And everything is the exact same here. I would be really sad to see that you cannot expose game instance subsystems to C++ because that's the one that I wanted the most. Nah, I ain't giving up. Does something happen because of this? Like blueprint printable, so a base class, yeah, base type. Okay, no, not something that I have to like. What kind of metas I have out there that could maybe first? Fuck is okay. Within, yeah. I drop down. Oh, I didn't know this function. Huh. Actually, yeah, I want to have a high drop down. And the same for where's the world? I don't want this base class to show up in the drop down menu. Alright, so there's one thing that we found. I didn't know that it was that name. Show function, advanced class, auto collapse categories. I'm just trying to see if I'm missing some meta that is not obvious. It's somehow auto assumed, but no. Yeah, right now I'm just kind of being. Oh, it didn't crash this time. Didn't crash. Jesus, what a hardcore rain and hail out here in Warsaw. Holy shit. Alright. Let's recompile. Let's see if the high drop down worked as we want to. And we will start experimenting with basically are there any ways that I could see why the auto getter was being created? Like I think I might find a clever way. Because when you copy nodes and paste it into a text editor, you're kind of seeing the script version of it. Maybe this will tell me something. Otherwise, I will just start looking through this subsystem collection and we will see what the fuck I can do with this. Initialize dependency. Because when I do this, I am adding this. I am calling super, yeah, but it does nothing, right? As we established, the base class does absolutely nothing with this. Maybe I should do something to it, right? Let's see if they are not visible from the drop-down menu anymore. Like, PP. No, it's still visible. The high drop-down didn't work out. Alright. Fuck that, I guess. Okay, let's copy that into like Sublime. And let's see, maybe this will clue us in. Subsystem example. Yeah, let's copy that. And let's copy BP World Subsystem example underneath. And let's see what the hell can we get from this. This is showing the export path. This is showing blueprint graph, get subsystem. Okay, so we know that the blueprint graph K2 node get subsystem is being called, right? Actually, this is like what is happening in here. Get subsystem, and the custom class provided is BP game instance subsystem, right? Custom properties, pin type, pin subcategory object, scripted class, script. We see that it is that. Right, it is just calling the node get subsystem, K2 node. Get subsystem, which we will investigate in a second. And BPSU object wrapper, no, BP serialized. We see that it is using that and it is calling this. But when we are actually using the example, it is also K2 node get subsystem. Export path is what we thought it is. Custom class provided is actually BP World Subsystem example. So the custom class of BP Game Instance Subsystem example cannot get in for some reason. Here we can see pin type, pin subcategory object, script, engine, blueprint generated class. BP subsystem, and it just shows that it is this BP subsystem. And here it is just calling class. So for some reason, either there is no blueprint generated class but I am staring right the fuck at it, right? I think I'm getting to unravel the mystery of that. And it might be due to the node within. Let me just show you my thinking process, right? My thinking process is that you have, it can be white, whatever. You have those subsystems, right? This is like the parent, right? And then you have all these subclasses, right? This is the world subclass, right? And as we saw, it doesn't contain the meta within. So the implication is that this subsystem can be created wherever. So it means that its CDO, right, which is class default object, gets created in the editor time, right? It will be created when the game starts, etc., etc. And when we created a blueprint version of it, BP W example, because we are in the editor, there exists the world, therefore there exists a reference to this, right? It's class generated object. But then we have our game instance, right? Oh my god, I'm doing it horribly. So that's better. Game instance, right? And as well, we saw that, yeah, there is a CDO created of it, right? Because game instance subsystem, right? No, but this theory immediately falls apart. Why? Because we have our game instance subsystem. It can be only created within game instance. The editor doesn't contain game instance, right? There's no game instance within the editor, or at least I think so. And therefore this also shouldn't be accessed, because my idea was that, hey, it can be only created within G game instance, right? So our BP game instance example, when it's being created via Blueprint, right? For some reason, I'm not sure if it is connected to within. This theory fall down quickly, but for some reason, this has generated class. And this doesn't. No generated class, right? So that tends to answer probably, this is the theory, probably working theory right now. The reason why you cannot get this, because it just doesn't exist, right? There is no generated class of it. So it just doesn't exist. Everything in between on the chain with C++, there is CDO, there is generated classes, etc., etc. But for some reason, there is no generated class for the Blueprint version of game instance. I thought that it maybe had something to do with the keyword, with the meta of within, that exists outside of an instance of an outer class name. And because game instance doesn't exist in the editor, or at least I don't think it does, it shouldn't spawn. But if that were the true, I shouldn't be able to reference all those C++ game instance subsystems. So that's why it falls apart. That's not what's happening, right? Yes, as we can see, it won't be working with it won't be working with the editor. Just editor, right? It shouldn't be created. It's world. This try in it. It can create local players, etc. Yeah, there's lots of things. Get subsystem for a specified type, right? There's this called get subsystem collection dot get subsystem. This is for C++. So that way in C++ we can get subsystems from the game instance, right? But we see that it's like the K2 node get subsystem. Let's try to find this K2 node get subsystem. We have it. This might also give us some answers. Why this node is being generated for the C++ subclasses of get game instance subsystems and not for blueprint one. I feel like this will answer us a lot of stuff. It will answer. Serialize, allocate default pins, get pin meta is not pure custom class. There's also get subsystem from PC player controller, get engine subsystem, get editor subsystem. There are lots of like subclasses, but the not subclasses. There are lots of nodes, right? But oh, actually subclasses, yeah. But actually, I want to see. Yeah, this is what sometimes, as I said, us programmers are spending Like you will write all of the code for all the algorithms, etc. But then you like fail with this one simple thing. I cannot create the node getter, so my friend cannot really script this thing and connect to it or in any shape, way or form outside of C++. And I will lose the whole stream today probably on that one specific topic, right? And get subsystem, serialize, custom class. Yeah, like we need to analyze this node to understand why it might not be created. Why it might not be created. We see that, okay, it has a custom class, which we saw here. Custom class is BP game instance subsystem. Custom class is blueprint generated class. And it is this world example, right? What we ideally would want to have is custom class type this and have our example class, right? From game instances. But for some reason, this blueprint generated class is not happening for our game instance. So let's analyze this code. Maybe it will tell us something, but also let's on the other node search for blueprint generated class anything really. In the other pane, blueprint generated class. Maybe there will be some comment or something that will clue us into anything. Right now we are deep in the like blueprint, virtual machines, etc. territory, which I'm not extremely familiar with, but you know, we'll try to get through it. All right, let's dig deep into this weird ass code. Initialize. Is there like some function out of the right from the jump that we can is compatible with graph? Blueprint. Find blueprint for graph. Find user constructions script. What is the base of it? Determine if a node of this type can be created for the specific graph. Wait a second. So it might mean that it's just I got an suspicion. Let me quickly check this. What if I create like my own game instance quickly? Select BP. And like, can I? Ooh. We found the answer. We found the fucking answer. Why it's not generating this? Oh no. Wait, no, it's just casting. Wait, I just blanked it out. No, it was brain fart. It was brain fart. It was brain fart. Yeah, I thought that maybe this check, hey, can I create this node for this graph, right? And the reason why it wasn't available, maybe because you can only create it with that. Maybe the node can be created only inside of a graph that is of a parent class of game instance, nothing else. But no. Whoa, the hail right now is fucking do it without context sensitive? It still cannot create this node. Okay, so it's not about is compatible with the graph. Get many actions? What is that? Okay. Get derived classes. There's this function. So this creates many actions, huh? This creates many actions that I can just allowable blueprint variable. Okay, so for example, it uses this function get derived class. This the parent class of the classes return results be recursively true. The results will include the children of the classes recursively, otherwise only direct descendants. Okay, show me the actual function. We are so deep in the weeds of Unreal Engine. Get the right classes. So if it is a blueprint generated class, it should show up here. Let's get back to here. This is interesting. Is allowable blueprint variable type BP assume blueprint type. That is set to true. In my game instance subsystem, I don't have it as blueprint type, so blueprint type. Maybe this might actually fucking work, but it might lead to another error, but whatever. So this is how many action gets constructed. It's taking all the derived classes. So either the list of derived classes for the game instance subsystem don't include our BP subclasses at all, or it's not being created because of this. That's what at least this node code tells me. I also am a little tempted just to fucking force the class of BP game instance example here, paste it in and see how it breaks, right? But let's close this for now. And let's compile it. Damn. What an atmosphere outside right now. It's raining like a motherfucker with some hail. Some church bells are ringing. It's like the end of the world, like the freaking apocalypse. Holy shit. Oh. Read node handler. Yeah, I never really dug deep into how the nodes are being created within the editor. So this is interesting. Like, there are like two big things that I haven't really dug into. I mean, two big. There are lots of things within the Unreal Engine that I haven't really dug my teeth into, right? One of it is rendering, but that's like an adventure for another time. And the other thing is like custom tools, but not those basic tools done by a widget or via Slate, but via this. Like you're creating your own nodes, and the nodes that you're creating are K2 nodes with your own customization, etc. Like this type of tools, right? I never really played around with, so that's actually very interesting. If my read on the code is correct. PP game. Nope. Still cannot access it. Still, it's not getting created. If I type in game instance, subsystem, I can only get those. And through this, get subsystem, no. Get game, no. Can't get it through game instance, I cannot get it through here. Oh my god, and I know that there used to be a plugin that was exposing all of those subsystems. I didn't manage to buy it in time. Now it's off from Fab, previously known as Marketplace. So that sucks. PP game. What about if I open up the game instance itself? BP game instance subsystem exam. Still, node is not being created, even though I made it to blueprint type, which I feel like I shouldn't do, but I did it anyway because of reading through this fast. So that's not how it works, huh? I cannot put a breakpoint in here. God damn. If we will go further with the prototype of a game with my friend, I will just do a source code build because this type of shit is annoying to me. What else I could think of? Okay, so it's allowed blueprint variable type. I put it as true, right? Oh my god, just this is the function. No, it is not the function. It's the call function. Where the hell is this? And I don't get bool metadata. Allowable blueprint variable type. Oh. It does tell me nothing. Oh, this is one of those moments where you are just cursing yourself for even having an idea to do this. But you know, Mama ain't raised no quitter, only the complainer. So I will curse myself out for trying to do this good work. Maybe the plugin came back in. That would be something. Let's see. Fab.com. Where the hell? Subsystem. There's only this one that was yeah, there's this one for 22 zlotys, which is like really cheap, but that ain't the one that I was trying to get. It was like the other one that was a little bit older than this. It had more reviews and it was more, how to say it, vetted, I think. And look, it is possible. This guy has a BP, game instance, subsystem, all of that shit is accessible. So it is possible. I am tempted, of course, to buy it and see how it was done and just use it, but I really wanted to do it on my own. Maybe the documentation has something for us. Wait, what? There's also some weird stuff going on in here. Because the blueprint name is this, and to restart the editor after the window instantiates the blueprint. Otherwise, there might be multiple repeated get options after it can. There is, okay, so the guy created like a workaround that you're adding the game instance subsystems, so all the other subsystems, like some list. He created basically settings, and that way there are probably some okay, so I think he also had some problems with that, and he created like this override with this. Maybe this is the only way to do it, to have this. But yeah, the other plugin that I had used to be here. Now it ain't here anymore, which sucks. Alright. The worst part of this, I don't even know where to start. I also might... Yeah, I think I will just do this as a throw shit at the wall type of measure. Game instance. Example. And let's put it in here. Yes, I'm gonna be a very bad boy, but... And... Put it in here. Put it in here, and I just want to copy it and see how it breaks. In what way it breaks, right? Because it will break. Just want to see how. It just won't allow me to. Suddenly I have BP game instance subsystem example. It probably won't. It will compile. It will compile. It. Oh, so clearly. Look at this shit. Clearly, I can have this node. Otherwise, it wouldn't compile, right? And I can probably call count on it, right? Add some count to it. And I can freaking disconnect this. Or rather, I say... I can also probably copy this node and paste it like this. Okay, so look at this shit. It truly is only the problem of allowing this to be searchable, I think. Look at this. I will do this. I will launch, of course, my level. Press play. And it works. I accessed my BP game instance subsystem example. But I'm not gonna tell my friend to like, hey, keep like one node alive so you can copy it anywhere, because that's like some It's below like university student grade hack job. I need to figure out how to allow this to happen, because right now it's like BP game instance. I cannot have this auto getter, but I can copy other auto getter, change all of this shit inside of it, paste it, and suddenly it works and it functions. It's not like, oh, it only looks like it works, it actually functions. I have no fucking idea why I cannot have this action. I truly don't. Because let's take a peek once again into game instance subsystem. Let me delete this hide drop down. It's blueprintable. It is blueprint type. It is abstract, okay. And it either has to do, no, it doesn't have to do anything with within, because other subsystem, game instance subsystems that are created in C++ are gettable. So it has to be something with the way that the blueprint is being generated for this specific fucking thing. And I have no clue what it is. I wonder if we will find it out or not. Generate constant. Constant class or not. Dude. That class. No. It's not an abstract class either. It's not deprecated. And if I understand correctly, if this is a blueprint class, it's by its very nature blueprintable, right? I have no idea what this is. Ah, okay, property matrix editor. Yeah. So it clearly can work. I just need to figure out how to make the action for the game instance subsystem example work. Because I can cast to it, I cannot get it. I just cannot get it. These are all the actions that are being created. I found the code for that node. Get subsystem, right? And I can see get menu actions as I expect. Get menu actions creates these exact actions, right? Actions for this blueprint. The worst part is, even when I turn off the being context sensitive, right? BP game. Even without context sensitivity, it just doesn't create this action for this specific class. I'm looking at this and I just don't see a reason. I cannot debug it either. Like, I think I took care of this, right? Because it is blueprint type right now. Explicitly blueprint type. So that should work. Action registrar is open for registration. Yeah, it should be. Yeah, the only moment where it should be skipped is allowable blueprint variable type, and I cannot debug it, which sucks. And So there's one possibility that me changing this game instance subsystem to be a blueprint type for some reason didn't work and it doesn't go through here. So that's one reason how it cannot create this action. And the other is when it is trying to get all the derived classes, for some reason it cannot collect this one. But that one, I have no freaking clue why it wouldn't be. It would mean that the whole class to child list map is completely fucked. I wonder if anyone watching this in the future or watching it right now has like some kind of clue or about how to go about it, then I'm all ears. Because I'm quite sure that this will happen. But I can set up a... Yeah, I can actually do this. Yeah, I can try to use that function, right? And see... This is the way I can get around this. I can just try to see what will get in here. Then I can just go for auto. I can just engine add-ons screen debug message, or better yet, UI log. I can log. Dziadello, witam kolegę. Siema. Rozwalam sobie mózg, próbując naprawiać błąd edytorowy i trwa to 2 godziny, czyli typowy dzień programisty. And how about you? Category name log temp, verbosity warning, so it won't be omitted in any way, shape, or form. Format is text. Class. Jadello, aka Diabolit, answers my, because I asked him like what is he doing, and I explained to him what the fuck I am doing, how I'm breaking my brain. And he is doing a UI widget for action point chain, which is a part of our game. So I would love to show it off to you when once it will be happening, but I'm not sure how we will be, approaching like our blueprint reviews, etc. We are at the beginning stages of everything, so guys, please don't assume anything about anything. And Jadello says, let me read it first in Polish, then I'll translate it. A ja robię widget do API chainu, może niedługo będę miał generację już, mam już sprawdzanie special traits versus skill requirement. So Jadello to us says that he's making widget for the logic for action points that will be used in turn-based combat for our game. And he says that maybe he will have like action point generation because there is this specific design going on in there that Jadello, aka Diabolit, here came up with. And then he said that he has like a check between special traits of an entity versus some skill requirement. Jadelo says, you can talk in Polish if you want. Możesz gadać po polsku, żaden problem. Niech się internet uczy. Generating AP chain is done. I need to connect it to UI. Yes, yes. I don't want to give out yet what the idea behind action points for the turn-based combat that we will have in game is. I don't want to give it out yet. Diablo, to zjebałem, już ci mówię. Lose. Yes, let's not give it out yet. My friend came up with, like, truly, in my opinion, genius idea that I haven't seen yet. And if our game, as I said on one stream ago, is all about turn-based combat and checking if you are a turn master, right? Like, are you really? It's gonna be a tough game, and it's supposed to see if you are really up to a challenge, right? And he came up with the idea that actually is really fucking awesome. Jak zobaczysz te lupy, co wchodzą w lupy, to z krzesła spadniesz. And I missed something. Już ci mówię, bo traity zrobiłem na enumach, a nie gameplay tagach. Jak zobaczysz, jak te lupy wchodzą, te lupy, to z krzesła spadniesz, ale chociaż content będzie. So, Jadella basically says that when we're talking about how it could be done, because Jadella here wants to learn about gameplay scripting with blueprints, and working on a game is a perfect opportunity, right? And he wants to take care of the whole combat system, and I'm completely glad with it. I will be in the role of a blueprint reviewer for this feature, right? And we talked about this and how it could be done. Jadella here says that it is like the loops inside of the loops inside of the loops, and he used enums instead of gameplay tags, etc. But at least we will have some content to talk about and to test the idea first, because we established, as I did on the previous game prototype that I was working here on stream, that is right now in the freezer or abandoned. It pays off to quickly, as dirty as possible, try to make a prototype to see even if the idea is fun. The MVP of an MVP, right? MVP squared. Just to see if it is fun and worth pursuing. Because if it immediately shows up like, this is kind of boring or actually fucking sucks, then it means it's back to the drawing board, and me and Jadella will have to figure out, okay, so what other ideas do we have? So yeah, ain't a problem that you used enums instead of gameplay tags. For now, for shippable script, we will have a talk. But for, just checking, it's right. And look at this. What I'm trying to fix, and I will probably lose 7 fucking hours of work to just do this, right? Because I want to expose subsystems to you, my friend. For example, the thing that you did with action points, it would be perfect for being in a game instance subsystem, and I expose it to you. But then, for example, you wanna interface with it, and look at this piece of shit. I am typing in BP game instance subsystem. I want to get a node for this, kind of like this, so you can start interfacing with it, right? You cannot from this drop down menu access it, but if you take this node, copy it to like the fucking text editor, change the names in here to the blueprint game instance subsystem that I created for you, my friend, and paste it back in, it works. So that's what I'm breaking my brain with, like super intricacies of the editor, just so you can have a drop down list and access the thing, right? Instead of like copying it and paste. Like no, this is pathological workflow, copying shit, etc. Like it is not releasable. And that's what I'm breaking my brain, because all of the other exposure to code so you could work with it, yeah, it's being done. Like you could, what you did, we could probably copy paste it into this game instance subsystem class and it would work, right? But then to interface with it, you have to do this fucked up workaround. So that's what I'm breaking my brain with. It is both frustrating but also fascinating. And right now I'm doing like a very roundabout way debug to find out why it's not going on. I found the code responsible for creating menu actions, those actions, so you could, for example, as in with world subsystem, system example, you could just take it, right? Here it is, right? And you can just use it. And I found the code that generates this, but I cannot debug it, because it's non-source code build. Yay. Jadelo says, słuchaj, jak dzisiaj zrobiłem to sprawdzanie skilli versus orłów i zobaczyłem tę funkcję, to miałem, what have I done? Jadelo says that when he checked today his implementation of the design and he saw his own function, he was like, what have I done? Don't worry. We will straighten this out, we will review it, etc. But first and foremost, the most important thing is that it works and we can just see it in action and be like, oh, it's enough. It's already working amazingly. We can go from MVP of an MVP to an MVP, or we will be like, ah, shit, we need to add things to it in order to make it fun, or reduce, or whatever. Like we need to iterate, right? That's the most important part. The rest of it, will come along with it. Straightening your implementation out. Don't worry. Yeah, so let's get the subclass. Let's get some kind of freaking name of it. Name. Get name. There's no name. Name. Nothing. How the fuck can I print the name of this subclass? Is there anything I can just like take? Oh, yeah, of course. I'm taking the wrong thing. Get name. Fuck that. Let's just do the get name. That's it. Dziadello says, na Disco ci wrzuciłem screena, możesz pokazać jak chcesz na streamie. Dziadello sent screenshot to me of this. Yeah, I can show it. The only problem is that I have a different Discord account right now turned on for streaming purposes. So... it ain't bad. No, dude, it ain't bad. No, it actually looks structured. Like, no, it ain't bad. Let's see if I can somehow... fuck it. Let me just swap the Discord real quick. Let me just do this, copy media link, and let's open this up here. It ain't bad. Dude, it ain't bad. Really? It ain't bad. It ain't bad. Look at this, guys. No, it's actually quite structured. I can follow the lines. No, it ain't bad. When it comes to like the look of it. Of course, I don't see what exactly is happening here. Maybe if I will take a peek at each and every node and be like, oh my god, dude, what's going on, right? But just from like the topology, looking from afar, it ain't bad. Let me show you actually what looks bad. Blueprints from hell. Unreal Engine. Yes, it still exists. This, for example, on every tick of update, getting all actors of class. This is nightmare. This is nightmare. I really recommend this. Let me type it in. I really recommend this link. This is nightmare, dude. Yours is fine. This is nightmare. Exactly. This looks like someone had a very bad idea and it could be way more simple. I cannot look at Tumblr without registering? Fuck you, Tumblr. I ain't using it. If that's the case. Is there like anything else that I can show off? Oh yeah, this is the better version. I don't think I have to log into here. I remember that there was, yes, oh, this is nightmare. This is nightmare. And the comments, look at those nightmare. Like 13, 1x, bigger than 3x. You cannot fucking read this shit. Right? This is stuff of nightmare. This is stuff of nightmares. And let's compare it to yours. Ain't nothing. Ain't bad. Dude, I think I say good job. This is nightmare. And these are the things I both seen in my career and committed. Those kind of crimes against humanity, because you had 5 minutes to fix something and you're strapped for time. That's how those things happen. This is nightmare. This is stuff of proper nightmares. This. Yours ain't bad. And I accidentally closed. But there... I'm sorry. There used to be like the one that was like truly... It's probably summoned some kind of demon. I'm not sure if it will still be there. Oh yes, there it is. This is my favorite. Look at this. Okay, Pashi. Okay, Jadello. He needs to go with his dogs. Not a problem. I might need to have a 5-minute break anyway. Should I get some water? This. I should make it my wallpaper. Look at this. This is... It's hard to believe that it was not done on purpose, but... This is the one that I'm sure summons demons. That one I didn't know. Very funny. And this also summons demons. I'm sure, like, if you actually execute it, fucking Beelzebub shows up in your room and you can smoke a joint with him. Okay, it also requires login, but fuck it. The worst one we have here. So yours ain't bad. Alright, I need... Just to establish, did we find out anything? No, we only found out that yes, you can create this node by hand and it will fucking work. So lots of debugging, guessing, etc. that didn't work out. Now I am only resulting to like finding out whether the... Oh, thank you. But I still will be taking break. Quick break. Yeah, right now we'll be trying to debug in the roundabout way whether get menu actions actually, you know, is it that thing that doesn't construct the action to do, or maybe we'll try to go about it in a different way and I will create like some static function that will allow to get this kind of subsystem. Don't know yet how I will do it, but I will fucking force the engine to do what I want to do. So, quick break. And yeah, a quick break. See you soon, guys. I'm back. Hello. Let's see if my debug worked out. I love these type of problems. Every programmer that I know had one of these when they were stuck on stupid tiny, in this case, user experience detail. Everything else is done. But this one stupid detail, nah. So, the way we will be debugging is kind of copying, because I don't have source code built for my breakpoints don't work inside of the engine classes, but they should work though, in my opinion, but whatever. So I'll be copying parts of this K2 node get subsystem into my code and seeing where suddenly I don't get my subclass. Blueprint generated subclass, because it should be there. And this way we will find out. Because there's also another possibility that all of it goes through and there's something else that filters this class out. Because I thought it might be connected somehow to the subsystem collection thing, but there's no reference to that in here, so that ain't it. And if I won't be able to work that out, I'll just try to create my own getter for this, which will suck because it won't be using it as exactly as everyone else did, but you know, but fuck it. All right, let's place blueprint, breakpoint. Sorry, let's place breakpoint and see what the hell will happen. It found 9 subclasses. For some reason, Rider stopped showing me the insides of arrays. That's a fun thing. And I'm on newest versions, so that's fun. All right. We will see in the log what got printed out. It does contain. What is scale? Okay, but this doesn't matter. This matters. So it does find, when it tries to construct the actions that you can take while creating the graph, it does find BP game instance subsystem example. So we know that it knows that it exists, and the blueprint generator class exists there. Okay. So what the fuck? Get me active. So I know that in here my class is there. Generated. So what I don't know is whether This is actually a blueprint variable type. I know that if it will go true, and for example this will be false, then we would get a crash. We could check forces the crash to happen, right? It basically works like an assertion. So we have to be stopping at this for some reason. We'll quickly get in here. And actually, we will change it a little bit. It will be like this and quickly. Or I can just go, do it like this. And pick. Jadello, I'm back. I'm back as well. I got a quick break. And trying to debug still. Oh my god, this is wrong order of operators. Yeah. Yeah, accidentally deleted curly brackets, and yeah, let's try live coding. Of course. Let's turn everything off. Jadello, have you seen the FF7 Revelation, the third part of the remake? Trailer? Wait, what? I don't know this. Alright. Oh my god. What I think is this that I'm missing. Just for this simple task. Nope, not yet. Alright. They announced that there will be basically possibility to change the way your character plays via changing their clothes. Kinda, it's called fit system. It's basically a job system that, as far as I understand, like alters, for example, Cloud's role in a combat or Tifa roles in a combat in big way, etc., etc. And I was listening to it and I was like thinking, interesting. Wonder how it will work out. Link error. Oh, you cannot link this piece of shit. My god. Of course you cannot link this. Oh, god damn. Holy shit. What the hell I did? I recommend watching it. It looks like there will be a couple of awesome combat changes to it. The rest of it, I can't say that I'm super excited for, because at least in FF7 Rebirth, I was a little bit disappointed by the open world. Not the way it looks, because it looked awesome, but the way it functioned, it felt like I played this game already. But it's cool that you'll be flying high wind and you're able to jump down from the parachute, seamlessly go to the world, like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom style. At least that's how I assume. So that might be fine, so maybe exploration will be better. Yeah. But I'll be honest, I haven't been really checking the trailers from the conferences that happened. Did you check anything? Can just, instead of using this fucking function, I can maybe do this. Wait, I think I'm missing. I'm missing, yes. This. Wait, what the fuck is happening? I think I fucked up. I don't want you to print the. Okay, fuck you. Let's just get it like here. Here. Const boolean. Whatever, this ain't gonna survive this shit. Thank you. Now, should be able to follow. Jadella says that he watched a little bit, and games from his day job, Bluebird team, showed up there. And the ones that he is participating in. Oh, damn. Which ones? Because I know I only, from what I was just scrolling through on my phone, saw that the expansion to Chronos was revealed, and I'm not aware of others, or at least they didn't say it in the title or something. I haven't seen trailers, so pardon me. If you of course want to share this, if you don't want to share which ones are you working on, then of course it's fine, not a problem. We can delete this. Okay, so I actually need to, oops. And Jadello shares on which games he is participating in creation. Star Trek Shadow Frontier and Saw Genesis. Saw Genesis, I think. Yeah, I think when I was scrolling, there was something about that. Take a peek. Oh my god, IGN. Okay. Ah, the one with the Answer Studios. Shit, I don't know if I can show it actually on stream or I might get this stupid copyright claim shit. So I will watch it, you know, off stream because there might be some weird copyright stuff, shenanigans. But these are the games that Jadella is working on with the day job. Nice, nice. Still it is unresolved symbol? How the fuck is it unresolved symbol when I link you? I just really want to see if this BP variable type check is... Ah, the build has already started. Oops. Probably this thing isn't exposed to my game class. Oh my god, so I am not really... Okay, but it is checking for the blueprint type, and I know for million and 1000% that blueprint type is here. And the blueprint child class of this type of thing should have blueprint type implied. So I cannot make this guess. For I cannot assume that this will actually, you know, give up the real deal, but I want to have a clean error once again. Okay, thank you. It cannot link this type, right? Okay, can I just maybe use this text? Because it's just an F name, so I can just do this and not use the blueprint meta, just do this and not use the schema here, because yeah, it won't link for lots of reasons. It is part of the editor, K2 node system, etc. And I am right now in my game, and I probably would have to do something to uProject, etc, etc. So yeah, right now I just want to see if these are blueprint type actually. So Jadella, it must be a sigh of relief to see that, oh, finally trailers are coming out. Woo! We are on track with this shit, right? And how many Bluebird projects showed up on those trailers? On those, sorry, my brain is going. On those conferences. It's Star Trek, So Genesis, the expansion to Kronos, and okay, free. Yes, so free. I have Kronos on my wish list. One day I will have to. Jadella says free Star Trek, so Kronos. Yeah, yeah. One day I will have to play it, but I have so limited time of play right now that it's hard to play anything longer. So I'm just playing Mugenics right now. It's awesome. It's fucking hilarious. And I'm also looking at, you know, how they attempted a couple of things when it comes to like starting new rounds, how everything is modified, etc, etc. It's a really clever game. I think the only thing that I did was turn off the music because music wasn't my type, although it is great. I can see that it was greatly made and it fits the theme, etc. But like games like Mugenics, Slay the Spire, and Monster Train, I like to play in that way that I have podcast going on underneath, or like some other music that I like to listen to and play for like 30 minutes before going to sleep. And Mugenics is awesome. I wish I had Steam Deck so I could play it more, you know, in between, let's say. Okay, it compiled. Let's open up our assets. Let's open up the level. Let's initialize, and then let's look at the log. So what I see from my debug is that my BP game instance subsystem example is findable, is blueprint variant type. So if I could probably put the breakpoint in here, I would see that no, it actually goes through everything and it works, right? And the action for some reason is created. But for some reason it is still not being shown, and I don't know why. It's a little bit... wait a second, because there are two versions of this function, and I copied the wrong one. Great. Because there's also this version of this function. I don't know which... What is calling it is this. Okay. This class of blueprint skeleton. Okay, so I might have to copy all of that and see where it will fail. So it's a local blueprint type. The only thing I am really interested is are all the false. False thing. So let me copy everything. Right, create a little quick lambda instead of this. It will be like auto is BP variable type. This is the last check, and if that ain't working, I'm working on a workaround, and I will dig deeper into the issue why I cannot just create an automatic getter on some later date, because it just makes me go crazy. From the trailers that I did so, or at least parts of it, Wolverine looked nice. Like a nice linear, very brutal game. Don't know how plot will be. That's what we will see, but... and it won't be coming to PC, so I guess I won't be playing this because I don't own PS5, and I don't know if I will be buying PS5. I'll be honest. Yeah, and I want the return type to be, of course, bold of my little lambda here, and because I'm just basically copying this function just to avoid not being able to put the breakpoint in, and also just to not fuck with linker errors right now. Tadelo, did you see the Wolverine trailer? There was also something else that really caught my attention at the Sony thing. I forgot the name of it, but it was a horror game. And I thought that, oh, looks like something you might be into. What the hell was it? Like Sonic on... It was State of Play, right? State of Play 2026. That's one announcement. Fuck away with those cookies. Ah yeah, Ace Combat, of course, always looks good. The one that, like, I thought that it might be... Oh yeah, of course, Marvel fighting game from ArcSys. Or at least looking like ArcSys. I'm not sure if they are doing it. Ill, that's the thing. Ill. I recommend seeing Ill. Does have a no. Ill video game play play whatever. Was it this one? Yes, this one. I recommend this. Let me drop a link because it seemed like a nice little. What the hell is going on with the? Okay, it worked. Oh, you know about this game. So if you know, then you know. But also I saw that Lost Wild. I thought that it was Jurassic Park or another Turok game, but it turns out no, it is like some other survival with dinosaurs. The Lost Wild looks nice. I hope it's not just exclusive for PlayStation. I hope it will come out for PC as well. Let me drop a link to that as well. Okay, let me close that and fix the debug code. I had 47 minutes to figure this shit out. So yeah, it will be and just freaking capture this and get it over with. It is debug code, so who the hell cares? Oh my god, I hope this won't cause linkage errors. I just want to be through with it. Here I already know to like just copy the text. Copy everything. Yeah, it is like a poor man's debugging, but the fuck can I do? At this moment, without the source code, right? And at the end of it all is let's get back to the code once again. At the end of it all is just return B assume blueprint type. So return true basically for me. And now I can just go like nice little this. And I have breakable version of this and everything. Great. Delete this. My RTX is going off the charts even with this simple freaking scene. That's the scary thought. Like everyone right now, me included, is scared about, you know, any of the components failing, because that means a huge problem. It's a class A blueprint skeleton, of course. Linkage errors, of course. I really don't want to fuck with linkage errors right now. Why can't I? Hello. Processing Unreal Engine source file. Fucking great. Okay. This map editor. Really? There's no CPP version of that? Okay, so where the hell is the... Where the hell is the definition of the thing? that the definition of the thing? The way I have to go around about it, just because I don't want to fuck with linkage error. Also, I don't have source class in here. I don't have a source code, sorry, like my... Can I just assume that the game instance is not a blueprint skeleton? That would be so wonderful. Yeah, I'm gonna assume that. It's not a blueprint micro library either, I guess, so it shouldn't be that. That I'm gonna keep, that I'm gonna keep, and that I'm gonna keep. I think it is safe to assume that none of those things will... Unless, if that was the case, that accidentally, for some reason, game instance subsystem generated class is actually skeleton, a blueprint skeleton. There was like the scale underscore etc. That one doesn't go in, right? But the other one is, then I don't know how to even fix this. Or that it is a blueprint micro library. Yeah, there was like the listed skeleton version of my generated class, but there was also like a regular class, so that's that thing. Just to have an auto-getter node. Fuck me, this is like my day-to-day life at the day job, basically. Any day job that I ever had in game development. Fighting with bullshit. The exciting part, like you're taking care of it like super quickly, and then you're stopped with the bullshit like this. The amount of times I attended the stand-up where either me or someone else was working on some system and it was like for 2 weeks you were hearing that the thing is almost finished, but this one freaking user experience thing, in this case auto-generated node, in some other case like some other stuff that creates problem. How many times I saw programmers struggling against this type of shit, me included. It's just the regular version, like, and let me tell you, I know that that's just being real with you, right? The part here that you're seeing, this boring part of fighting against the system, that's the real game development in it, right? Like, every now and then you are stopping at such bullshit like this. Okay, yeah, this is the skeletal version of this class, but here is our normal, and it is a blueprint variable type. So unless, actually, yes, somehow the BP underscore game instance subsystem example is a blueprint skeleton somehow. Yeah, I can quickly find it out. I can quickly find out. This is like my only last resort, right? This is my last resort for finding out, and let's uncomment it. Let's just go like this. This is my last resort, but even if it is somehow a skeleton thingy, skeleton class, I wouldn't know how to make it not skeleton class. So I'm really doubtful that it will give me any information. And the only thing that I can right now assume or go with is, well, I have to find a workaround. Check the link, says Jadella. And I guess it is on Discord. No. Wait. Where did you send the link? Because it's not on the group Discord, it's not on private, I don't see any link. I don't see it. I don't see it on my end. Probably Automod once again fucking deleted it. But you can post it on the, stream Discord in general. Because it just doesn't show on my end. Let me just quickly go through here. Yeah, the auto moderator deleted it. I remember turning it off some time ago, so it should show up regularly. But sometimes it just doesn't work. It just stops all the links. So that sucks. Do I have that open? Yes, I have that open. And BP game instance subsystem example is true. Okay, paste it on Disco. So I have no idea why I cannot view the auto getter. I have no freaking idea. I know that it can work because I forced it to work. Oh, I see. It is a link to Google Drive. Okay, so most probably, the auto mode automatically filters out all the drive links. Oh, nice. Everyone who's watching, either in the future or right now, this is like the first screen from the prototype of our game, I guess. But it looks nice. Nice icons. Where did you get them from? Nice, looks nice. And I see there's like this effect and these. Nice. Looks really nice. Damn. Okay. Not gonna say it out loud. By the way, I think I bought on a sale and I need to submit it to our repo like a bunch of icons on because there was like a fab sale and I bought a bunch of plugins for us. Pashi says, well, we will of course replace them. Of course. Oh, look at that. Someone created a plugin for making your own Expedition 33. Let's see this shit. So now you can clone it. But of course it will always just be cloned. What the fuck? Open icons? That's how it was being called. Finding this plugin right now with the icons will be a bitch. Just to show you what I bought for our project. I won't find it. Fuck it. Yeah, but I bought a couple of more plugins and I want to submit them. Jadela says, I will be connecting actions to UI. Good, good. Can't wait to see this. Damn, this is such a blatant copy of Expedition 33. And you can play the demo of this game. Isn't this the character from... No, it isn't. But it looks like that one character from Final Fantasy X2, I guess? Yeah, the parry system, all the dialogues, and Alice, of course. That's the name of it. Reactive turn-based RPG, that's how they call it, huh? Alright. And here's Persona copied. And I guess this is Baldur's Gate. Yeah, this is Persona. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's Path of Exile, actually. And Diablo. Alright. You guys do you. Okay, so let's get back to my bullshit. So why the hell get subsystem node would not create for my stuff? Okay, what else is blocking? I'm at the end of my wits here, I'll be honest. Only is compatible with graph, could be. But I cannot use it in BP instance system because I don't know what the graph is. I cannot raise the breakpoint because fuck me, I guess. Are there any other thing that could affect my node not showing up? Is compatible with graph is one. Oh, not really. Someone actually uses get subsystem from PC. That's interesting. So the only two things that could mess with my creation of AutoGetter node is compatible with graph that I cannot do anything about, and get many actions. Maybe create node handler. No, it's just node handling functor. Yeah, I'm at the end of my wits. Without debugger and ability to debug, I can't freaking do it. Expand node. Get many actions, I am for sure. I do know that here everything is being created for it, right? It goes through is allowable blueprint variable type. It goes through all of that, because otherwise we would get the assertion right check. Yeah, I'm at the end of my wits. Why I cannot create the altogether for that? Especially as I see that it can work. BP game, BP world, and I can't. Like that. Do I have any like ace up my sleeve? Let's think. I did this. I went into the get subsystem node code. No, I have no idea how to debug it further. Find out why I cannot show it. Mm, 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 mm. It fried my brain, I'll be honest. And these kind of problems are always brain frying types. Is there anything like, I don't know, let's maybe clear everything. Let's type in BP game instance. And anything showed up in the log maybe? No, of course nothing. And I can just copy paste it and it works. I can go to definition and nothing will happen. What if I go in here? It will go to definition. Okay, throwing shit at the wall. Once again. Okay, ain't nothing that I could really use. Okay, if I were to like create a workaround for that, and I don't want to create the settings list of in yeah, I don't want, because that would suck from the user experience point to like, oh, every time I create a game instance, I have to add it to some list, and that's how you have a gather for it. That sucks. Like, how can I create the node where you can be like, hey, get game instance subsystem, and that's where you're like typing in what kind of subsystem do you want. It kind of seems as if I want to access the game instance. But let me open the game instance. Just like the regular game instance, right? And there is this function here, get subsystem. I am right. What the yeah. Alright. Get subsystem. This is a template function, of course. But just maybe I could create like a blueprint version of this function where you could select via drop-down list the class and I will get the class for you, right? My brain is completely fried right now. My brain is completely fried from this. God damn it. I feel like I might need another 5 minute, quick 5 minute break just to unfry my brain. So I'll be back in 3 minutes. Yeah, I just need to quickly like pause thinking, otherwise my brain, you know, you could just put eggs on my brain and have a nice omelette. So I'll be back in 3 minutes. Alright, I'm back. I hope my brain will be working a little bit better. Oh my god, where did the OBS disappear to? Here it is. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Alright, so. I also need to, I just realized, put the post process that I was working on for other game as a plugin and also drop it into our project. That way we could, you know, like do some previews and I could develop it further. But okay. So it clearly is here. I have an idea. BP game and I wonder if that is like very stupid, but nah. Yeah, my idea for a hot second was another throw shit at the wall thing is maybe I need to have like hard reference to a specific class and that way I would be able to like call it here, but no. It seems like I have to add like a new blueprint function library and create like a function with the automatic. I forgot how the name of it was, but there was a meta for like, hey, the output type of the node will be changing dynamically according to like a class of a thing. So I think that's what I have to do. Come on, man. I want to delete the whole object, not the stupid bastard. All right. So yeah, let's add the new blueprint function library to our plugin. Why not? Get fab. What? All classes blueprint function library. Just a regular. That would be. Wait, why is it adding here? Plugins, BP subsystem, close. Here. It will be. How to call it? Subsystems. Get there. Library. Live coding will probably fail, but who cares? We have our function, right? And Kenny DDD1, yo, what's up, man? What's up? How are you doing? I'm doing great, except for the part that my brain is freaking fried and yeah. And I'm trying to tackle a problem and it's like it's proved to be real difficult. But the weather at least outside right now is great. How are you doing? Yeah, I want to do like a public function right now and it will be view function, of course. It will be static. I'm doing pretty good too. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. Are you working on something right now? Like some video game or something? Hope streaming is going great as well. Yeah. Stream actually today I had no problems with the OBS or anything like that. At least I hope so. I hope I won't look at the VOD on YouTube and realize that there was no audio on YouTube or something like this. But the problem that I'm tackling right now proved to be difficult to debug, difficult to solve, so I'm doing like a roundabout solve right now. Instance subsystem, that's what we want to return. Get game instance subsystem, and what I actually want to do. Kenny asks, glad to hear that, as we saw. Do you stream this game a lot? This game, this is Unreal Engine, this is coding. Did you mean by that streaming making of the game? Because if so, then you know, I used to stream every Sunday, and I still am trying to do, but lately oftentimes life has been, you know, like oftentimes it demanded from me that I don't stream at certain Sundays. So there's that. And what are you doing with like, what are you interested in like game development wise? What kind of thing do I wanna, let me check quickly. Ah shit, I got only like 7 minutes of streaming left. And holy shit moly. Alright. What I want to need to get the game instance. First of all, I need some kind of view object world context. That's how usually things are being done in Unreal. Kenny asks, oh, okay, I understand you, bro. So if I may ask, since when have you been into streaming on Twitch? Shit. What was the year? I think 2024? Something like this? Teraz powiem po polsku. Chyba gadam z botem, tak mi się wydaje. Zobaczymy. So since 2024, it's been like a little side thing for me, streaming. Candy says, yeah, actually I'm a social media promoter and manager. I'm also a game developer. Oh, what kind of game are you developing? Okay, so world context, and how much time do I get? Shit, 6 minutes. Alright. C sub class of view game instance subsystem game instance subsystem class, right? That's kind of what I want, but view function, that's important. This blueprint pure, first of all. Kenny says, that's a long time, bro. So do you really have any goals for your channel? Goals as in like the amount of subscribers or followers, etc. And not right now, really. It's mostly I'm, you know, learning stuff about Unreal Engine, developing games. I have a day job in game development, and with my friend, we are like attempting a project right now. So the thing is just to stream, learn, and be completely real about it. So for example, if I'm stuck with this kind of issue, I'm showing it off instead of like trying to hide away and pretend that I'm some kind of genius, right? So yeah, I don't have like a specific goal, at least not right now. What was the name of? I forgot. There used to be this thing where I forgot what the name of this meta was. You can see it sometimes when you are using Blueprint scripts, that you have a node and it automatically changes the output type, and that's kind of what I want to do in here, but I kind of forgot what the name of it was. Wasn't any of these. No. 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 Blueprint, no. Livestream handle, no. Blueprint internal use. No. First class data type, maybe. No. I feel like it was in meta. Determines output type, yes. That's it, and it should be, I think you were putting it into quotables, right? That's how it used to be? Kind of fucking forgot, I have to tell you. Kenny says, wow, that's a nice goal and it's achievable. So have you ever tried any growth campaign on the channel before? Bro, do you have Discord? Polskie ziomeczki, które oglądają, jestem prawie pewien, że albo gadam z z jakimś robocikiem, albo z grifcikiem. Zobaczymy. Yeah, I do. I do have a Discord. It's in the description. Shit, I got 2 minutes. All right. So, yeah, let's create the implementation of it. Yeah, I know. First of all, if this doesn't exist, then return nothing, right? If it does exist, then world context get world, right? And I quickly want to check if world stopped existing also. Early return no pointer. Like, what's your Discord username, bro? I would like to add you up. You need to find it in the Discord for this channel, so I would advise to look for the description. I w ten sposób się dowiedzieliśmy, że to jest bot. Nie kliknie w deskrypcję i nie wejdzie w Discorda. Shit happens. World context, and that needs to be added because it's more readable that way. Kenny says, oh, hola bro, I'll add you now. Okay, now that we have the world, we can get game instance actually, and another quickly early out, right? If for some reason game instance doesn't exist, it should exist, but when you're closing the application, or that's where certain functions might accidentally get called, we don't want a crash because of this. I fixed a lot of those crashes where in the regular gameplay code you assume that yeah these things always exist when the game exists, right? And suddenly it turns out no, there was like someone clicked Alt F4 and some function didn't work out and it erased part of save, etc, etc. So like yeah. Now I can get game instance, get subsystem, and it will be Kennedy is here. Hello. Hello, hello. Let me quick check one thing. Yeah, I need to end real soon. Sorry for checking up on messages, but I really need to end real soon. But isn't that... Wait. Which one do I want? Wait, what? What the hell happened? No, okay, let me quickly go here and find the right one to call. That's the one that I want to call because I want to type get subsystem, right? Great. Get subsystem base, and it will be game instance class, right? And return. Should be this, and it should work. We will see in a second. Yeah. Of course, I should have named it differently than get game. So maybe display name is different. Let's make a display name PP game instance subsystem. Let's call it that for now. We'll see if it will compile. Not because I have an error somewhere. Where do I have the error? There's no yeah. No parentheses bracket. Just send your friend request. Kindly accept. No, yeah, after the stream, sure. Because I really have to like finish in a second, and I just want to see if it works. And the next stream will be on the 14th of June. 14th of June. Let's quickly see if I amounted my work to anything. Get BP game instance subsystem. Yes, we get our library. And the world context I need to provide, so I can go like, I can self-reference myself. Okay, it will be a roundabout way of going about this, but I see I can go like BP game instance subsystem example, and it will retrieve that, and I can do like a count here, and it will work. Okay, so so when we take a peek at it, still I think I would have to add like some way of like creating a list of all the blueprint created subsystems, because I think there might be a build problem because there's no hard reference to those assets. Those assets that won't have hard references, they might not be packets, so I might have to like artificially create those hard references, but that ain't the thing. That ain't the problem. And I think we didn't solve the problem of why there's no auto getter, but we created a more elegant way of fixing that. And still I would have to... First of all, is it valid? Second of all, if it is valid, then not to count. Let's go to our level. Alright, so I will be able to... My friend here who was here, Jadello, I will be able to deliver him the subsystems and able to be called in a more sane way than... It would be better to just have this. I can figure that out. I have like a workaround for that, right? Does it work? F. It works. Woo! Jadel asks, what's up? Well, I'm at the end of my stream, but I'm happy to report that I figured out how to expose using the game instance subsystems to you. It will be more convenient than copying one note into text, changing things and pasting it back. It will be something like this for later. So yeah. Jadel asks, I don't think I can right now, Jadello. Maybe I can today later in the evening, but not today because I have to exit house right now. And Diabolit. And Jadello from another account. It's okay. Graham is here. Good afternoon, GameDev. Good afternoon. It's nice to see you at least at the end because I'm finishing my stream right now. So yeah, I might be able to jump in Jadel for a second later evening, like really later evening. Yeah. But I managed to fucking do it. Graham, that happens. Yeah, that happens. Sorry for that. But I will be streaming on 14th of June. And just as a quick recap, I finally managed to get around the problem that I couldn't create AutoGetter node for my game instance subsystems created in blueprints. This node was created by copying this node into text editor, changing the blueprint generated classes inside of this XML looking thingy or whatever the fuck it is, and pasting it back. It turns out it works, but you cannot still select it from here as an AutoGetter, so I created this quick blueprint function library and kind of worked around this way. Oh my god, my voice is going. Oh, okay, sorry. So I managed to overcome the problem, not outright find out why I cannot do this. I debugged it for the whole stream, didn't find the reason for that, but you know, a nice little override. I also need to add, let me actually do the note here. Add automatic hard reference list gathering for all the BP subsystem instances for build purposes, because that's another thing that will for sure happen if you have those subsystems and you don't have any hard reference anywhere. They won't get into the build and it will fucking crash, right? So I need to do that. And yeah, this is a cool plugin. I can create myself a little note. I can actually put it in here, so it will open up on this. I can go into preview and I can see what I have to do within this exact blueprint later. All right, so I think that's been all from me today. Jadela says, I just need a little help to connect Unreal Engine to our revision control. Okay, no problem. We'll do it. I hope I will be able to jump in for like 15-20 minutes after I came to after I will come back to the PC. All right. Whew. At least at the end we arrived somewhere. I will be able to expose the beautiful world of subsystems to you, my friend. And yeah, that's been all. So without further ado, I bid you guys farewell. I hope you guys have a nice rest of the day and great whole next week. Bye bye, guys.